So the Time magazine interviewer says, so in Israel, obviously, a difficult time there. What steps are you prepared to take against Israel now that Netanyahu appears to have crossed your red line in Rafah, Mr. President? Now, the reality is that Israel did not cross Biden's supposed red line in Rafah. And let's be straight about this. Crossing red lines of Joe Biden's basically has no consequence. You'll recall that Joe Biden said that there was a red line in Iran attacking Israel. Then Iran did it, and not much happened. You'll recall that Barack Obama once said there was a red line in Syria, and then Syria used chemical weapons. He did nothing. It turns out crossing democratic red lines basically has no consequences. So Biden says this, and again, it is not merely that he is wrong. It is that his brains are scrambled eggs. Quote, I'm not going to speak to that now because you're going to report this before I'm in the process of talking with the Israelis right now, so I'm not going to. If I tell you, you'll write it. It's not the time for you to write it. I have not spoken with Bibi since the attack on Sunday. Was it Sunday? I'm not going to respond to that because I'm about to make a anyway. The sentence finishes with the word anyway. Now, you might think to yourself, that's not a complete sentence. You would be right. But don't worry, there's more. Quote, this is the interviewer. Whose fault is it that the deal, the ceasefire for hostages, has not been consummated? Is it or Israel or both? And Biden correctly says, could end this tomorrow. Could say, unintelligible. That's the editor putting that in there. And done, period. And the last offer Israel made was very generous in terms of who they'd be willing to release, what they'd give in return, etc. Bibi is under enormous pressure on the hostages, and so he's prepared to do about anything to get the hostages back. When I went over immediately after the brutal attack, I said then, and it became public, I said, don't make the same mistake we did going after bin Laden. Don't try. The idea of occupying Afghanistan, the idea you had nuclear arsenals in Iran that were being, in Iraq, that were being generated, simply not true. So he's already, in this sentence, mixed up Iraq and Iran. He says it led to endless wars.